each other all the time. And that in order to counter that, we need to build systems that internally have the capacity to hold the negative parts of human nature in check, while the positive parts of human nature thrive. And then I realized in looking back is that that's what the school planning and management team did. It brought the people who had a commitment to creating something that was good and useful in that particular building together. And the guidelines and the principles were played out through that school planning and management team until it permeated the entire school and eventually had a positive impact on everybody, so that the fear, the anxiety, the uncertainty was pushed away, and the achievement and accomplishment and a good feeling was left. And when I was there on the first day, where we had the people who had come from all over the country got together, and I listened to the noise and the excitement and the stories and the joy that people had, and I realized that that is exactly what had happened. And the relationships had been created, and we had had experiences that made us realize the best in ourselves and the best in other people. And that is what the system that was created did. But I didn't create that system because I knew what I was doing. We created one piece after another in order to address one problem after another. And each problem addressed led to the opportunity to address the next problem. And the more complex problem, and the more challenging problem. But what it did was to help us realize that whatever the problem, as long as we were dealing with human beings, we could solve it. If we put our heads together, and if we began and we continually work towards keeping the negative in check and promoting the positive. So that has brought us a long way, I think. And now the country, I think, is moving generally in that direction in education. But as mentioned, I think was the point about systemic change. And systemic change that goes beyond what we do in each and individual school, but what we do with the system of education, but recognizing that education does not stand alone. Education is part of the political system, it's part of the economic system, it's our overall social system, are all every day at play in what happens in education. And so we can't address all of those problems. We don't have our hands on the economic problems. We don't have our hands on the political problems. All we can do is keep going in trying to make every school building work for every child. And eventually, as it works, you begin to get the power to impact larger things. And as I said the other night, last night I guess it was, so much has happened, crammed in, it seems like it was 2 weeks ago. But as I said last night, when I was asked to think about, I would just stand there and play act as I looked at those posters and the activities on the board. I began to think that, and understand that all that we were doing with those first graders was preparing them to be successful adults and to be successful adult citizens. And that really is what education should be about, and we hope is about, where the model gets implemented as it should be. And then as we grow and as we gain strength, we can then begin to influence all the institutions around and connected to and parallel to our buildings and the people we serve. and begin to influence all of those systems so that they work to support education, and education works to support the people and the institutions around us. We're not going to solve the problems of education without changing the culture of the country. But we can change the culture. But by improving the performance of children and doing everything that is necessary to improve the performance of children, we will gradually improve the culture of the country. Because unintended, but it happens that way, is that systems change when people change. And people change when systems change. And we change systems by what we do with every child, every day.